Well, good afternoon and welcome to today's meeting of the Grant Subcommittee of the Policy and Resources Committee. Welcome to the meeting. I would remind all attendees that the meeting is being recorded and webcast live on the Council's YouTube channel. I've agreed the attendance of some members remotely and would remind all remote attendees to mute their microphones when not speaking. For any members of the public watching, please note that all the public committee reports, including details of specific recommendations, are available on the Council website. We'll move on to apologies and substitutes.
Thanks, Convener. We have apologies for Councillor McLaren, with Councillor Fotheringham attending as substitute.
Okay, that's grand. And I'm conscious that we are possibly expecting Councillor Meehan, but he's not shown up at the moment. So if he comes in, we'll welcome him. Declarations of interest and statements of transparency. Councillor Nicholl.
Just a statement of transparency regarding the for Open Garden. Family members previously done work for them, but they're not involved in the project that we're looking to recommend for approval today. So I will remain in the meeting.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. And Councillor Bell.
Thank you, Convener. A statement of transparency. Obviously, a couple of projects in the papers relate to projects in my ward, and in particular, Sustainable Kirriemuir. I'm very familiar with the group, but I'm not a trustee and haven't been involved in the application anyway. And likewise, the Westmuir Resilience application. I'm familiar with the nature of the work that they're doing. Thanks.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. I mean, inevitably for members, there'll be things going on in their ward that they know about. My view is, if you're not on the board, if you're not an active in that group, then you should know about them. But I think you only have to make a declaration if you're on a committee or a board or working for them. If you simply know about them, that's just what you should do, I guess. So that's my position. I'm not declaring an interest, although I know quite a few of the people in the Montrose, the two Montrose ones. Did you want to say something else, Councillor?
Yes, I do. I have participated in activities in the community through Sustainable Kirriemuir particularly. And just on Saturday, I volunteered for the Ride the North cake stall that they were running. So it is close, but it's not. There's no financial relationship, and I'm not a trustee.
Okay, well that's fine. Just thanks for clarifying that. Okay, we'll move on to the minutes of the previous meeting, which the subcommittee on the 14th of August. Are those correct? Looking for someone who's there. Okay, thanks, Councillor Beattie. Councillor Nicholl, are you okay with them? Yep, okay, that's great. So the minutes of the previous meeting are correct. So we'll move on to the business of today, which is item 4, Angus Place Prosperity Programme 2025. And I'd hand over to Audrey Meekie to take us through this report.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, elected members. This paper seeks the relevant approvals for the final year of the 5-year Scottish Government Place-Based Fund and the approved UK Share Prosperity Fund, which has made up this year's Angus Place Prosperity Fund. At the Grant Subcommittee in June, approval was granted for the slight change to criteria and distribution due to the delay in the Scottish Government award of the funds, and it was agreed that we would focus on community assets and work with groups and services that we were aware had projects that were ready to deliver that met the criteria of the fund in the tight timescales set. Following committee, we received notification from the Scottish Government of a 2-phased payment approach from them, and following approval today, we will claim for both phases of that funding. So we have been allocated a third of the funding already, and the second tranche is we've not had award of that funding, but we will be putting in a claim should all the monies be approved. It was also agreed that both the place-based investment programme and the UK Share Prosperity Fund would be merged into the Angus Place Prosperity Fund, which also includes and is currently open a revenue feasibility fund. We invited 7 organisations to apply and received 6 applications. A small group of officers have assessed the projects on the approved criteria rating, and each project out of a combined total of 300. I'm happy to inform that all 6 projects are being presented for approval today, and there is an element of one project that has other phases for funding that we are actually recommending for approval of that second tranche of funding from the Scottish Government, hopefully that's successfully claimed, and should any other capital funding become available this year. I'm also pleased to report that following the last 2 years of delivering the Community Development Programme of Sport, the Vibrant Communities team are supporting over 195 groups in Angus. So although the fund was restricted this year, there is a really good pipeline of projects starting to come through and a lot of new groups starting to form and looking at community-led activity. We have our 3rd Community Development Conference scheduled for October this year as well. The committee today is asked to approve the projects recommended by the Angus Council Officer Panel for distribution of the Angus Police Prosperity Fund, funded by the Scottish Government Police-Based Investment Fund and the UK Shared Prosperity Fund that's been approved, and approves the project recommended for reserve, which is in Appendix 1. It's noted on the table and it's noted within the first project, the Montrose Community Trust. It's recommended for approval should further funds become available. So happy to take any questions.
Okay, thanks very much indeed for that. Any questions for Audrey? Don't see any questions. Any comments? Councillor Fotheringham.
Thank you very much, Convener. As you know, I'm just a substitute today and I haven't been on this committee, but I have obviously thoroughly read the papers, and every one of these projects are steeped and based in the community, and I fully support them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Bell.
Thanks, Convener. Yeah, likewise, they meet a lot of needs across the communities, and I'm also very happy to support every one of them. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. Yeah, I would say that there are some really good projects here from, I think, it would be fair to say, groups we know well. A lot of the work they're doing, I would say, is complementary to what the council does, and that's really very much what community development and the communities team is about, is to get people in the community to do stuff that we can't. Either we don't have the people to do it or the money to do it, and they're able to access external money. There's some really good projects, and I think, as we've heard this morning, we have now encouraged, I think we've got a big group a group of more groups, if you like, who are now looking to develop projects so that the nucleus will expand somewhat, so that we may get different groups now applying for funding, and that's really good progress. So really big thanks to the communities team for that. So that's probably the comments. I don't see anybody else with their hand up for a comment. So really we'll just move on to recommendations, which are to approve the projects recommended by the officer panel and to approve the projects recommended for the reserve list. That's the one that's titled Appendix 1. Is that agreed? Okay, agreed. Right, thanks very much for attendance today, and wish you a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Hi, can you stop the live stream, please?